We really appreciate it. We really appreciate your supporting Free Speech TV by your ongoing, calling and supporting the fundraising drives. And we also would really appreciate if you go to thomhartmann.com.
Want to connect with the show online? You can find the Thom Hartmann Program on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Welcome back. So let's continue our conversation here. Zach in North Hollywood, California. Hey, Zach, what's up?
Morning, Tom.
Hey, Zach.
You remember the old meme, might is right, war is good, bomb them over there before they bomb us over here and all that?
I remember variations of that during the Vietnam War.
And that's the old guard rule. And I say that's all still was and still is born out of fearing the other instead of helping the other. Think of it. Bombing other countries decreases our security and increases the odds that we'll be attacked. Just imagine for a second and add up the revenue that's been spent on ordnance since 9/11. Take that number and imagine for a second if that had been spent on basic infrastructure. Say we go and build just a main street for someone.
We could have rebuilt this entire country with the money we spent in Afghanistan.
And then
we've got to crank up the gain on that hybrid. Zach,
welcoming us.
Zach, we could have rebuilt the United States. We have spent something on the order of $2 to $3 trillion, and it's going to be $5 trillion by the time we're all done. Paying for our veterans and everything else on Iraq and Afghanistan. If George W. Bush hadn't lied us into two absolutely unnecessary wars, we could have rebuilt America. We could have trains that are traveling 300 miles an hour like they do in China. We could have broadband for $30 a month for everybody in the country like they do in Chattanooga or they do in France. I mean, we could have done so much if we had simply done this. Yeah, spot on. Thanks a lot for the call. Cece in upstate New York. Hey, Cece, what's up?
Hi, my husband was a fireman on 9/11. He was working that morning. His part of the house, the ladder, was left to protect northern Manhattan, so he wasn't down there. But I thought he was. But that night he went down, and he spent like the next year on that pile.
Wow.
And 2 or 3 days in, Christine Todd Whitman said, "The air is fine, the air is fine" on television.
Yeah, I played that clip an hour or so ago. Yeah.
I'm glad it's still around. And I said, "You do not take that mask off, or I swear I'll kill you myself." And I used to always check that he wore his mask, and he did. And a lot of guys did it. And he ended up with asthma, but many of the men had horrible lung infections and died then.
Yeah.
And every week, every month, he gets the fireman's newsletter, and there's 2 or 3 more 9/11 deaths on it. So they absolutely lied from that woman's mouth to the next year. And, there's no repercussions for them lying. And it's just really disheartening. I don't know, he could still die from cancer. It is 17 years out, but we still don't know.
Yeah, cancer can have a long gestation period. Yeah, Cece, this is, it was Rudy Giuliani and George W. Bush and Karl Rove who wanted to make sure that there was, no perception of problem. In particular, Bush was worried that it was going to come out that he had been warned and repeatedly. I mean, the CIA was begging him to do something. He had been warned that this was coming. And, so they were trying to cover that up as well. But spot on. I'm so sorry to hear that, your husband's friends are dying and that your husband has had some health problems. Please give him our best and thank him for the work that he did. That is a brutal story. Dave in Federal Way, Washington. Hey, Dave, what's up?
Hey, Tom, not too much. Hey, I just want to say you by far have the best insight of any commentator on the post 9/11, global war on terror thing. And, I have spent so much time in Afghanistan and Iraq that I could have bought a house in either country. But you, I don't even think it's really that a priority to you. So I really enjoy what you put out about it. I just wanted to say there were 3 things during the Kavanaugh hearings that really scared me.
Mm-hmm.
One is he said that, it's the same old meme that 9/11 was the worst attack on America ever. Untrue. He also said that every day was September 12th to George Bush. I think every day was September 12th to Brett Kavanaugh. And he also said that he won't answer a question about if a president can pardon themselves because it's a hypothetical. But Saddam Hussein pardoned himself. I mean, you know.
Yeah.
So
I thought it was weird that he said every day is the September 12th, because on September 12th, George W. Bush was frantically hopscotching around the country on Air Force One, trying to find a safe city where there no terrorists might be. I mean, it was bizarre. Did you remember that?
Oh yeah, I remember clearly. I was at Fort Huachuca on September 11th, and I would just add that there's no way that the liberal worldview and the conservative worldview are completely separate. All right, I'm not going to put a value judgment on either one. But if any Democrat had been president or any liberal, we would not be where we're at right now.
I agree. Dave, thanks a lot for the call. George in Chicago. George, we just have 30 seconds to the end of the show. You want a quick point you want to make?
Any discussion of 9/11 has to take into account Rudy Giuliani's corruption, dishonesty, and incompetence. Prior to 9/11, a committee of experts recommended that New York build a new emergency command center in an outer borough underground. Giuliani refused because he wanted one he could walk to in Manhattan. Therefore, the command center was in the Twin Towers. It was destroyed. That's why Rudy was walking around the streets talking to New Yorkers and getting great media coverage, because he had no command center to go to thanks to his own dishonesty and incompetence. Also, there was the matter of the firemen's radios.
Yeah.
They should.
George, I'm going to have to leave it at that because it's the end of the show. But thank you. Excellent points, all. Thanks so much for being with us today. We'll be back tomorrow. In the meantime, don't forget, democracy is not a spectator sport. It requires all of us. It's the only way it works is if you show up. Get out there, get active, tag. You're it. We'll see you tomorrow.
You've been listening to Thom Hartmann. For audio and video archives, visit thomhartmann.com.